Let's do this thing. How are y'all doing? Summer tubbing season? Question mark. Are you pro summer tubbing? I am. It's I my issue with summer tubbing uh over the last couple of years we have had real erratic spring weather. So we had lows earlier this week in the high 30s. Now we are in the 40s. Carl Works, how are you? It is going to be 90 today. The other thing that's not real helpful, at least for me making that move, we have been in a drought. And, the deal with summer tubbing is you want to sort of make it into a nature thing. Maybe you put in some supplemental food, but it's not much. You just let the buffet of the skies do what it's supposed to do. And that doesn't seem to be happening right now. So there you go. Buffet of the skies, not working because it's so doggone dry here. It's just to the west of where I live in Kansas. It's in unbelievably extreme drought. The drought in my area has been growing. Now, we did get some rain this last week. It was supposed to be like a 24-hour drench-a-thon. Really, when it came down to it, is less than 8 hours. We got about an inch. They ain't enough to change the stuff. Yes, my Skinwalker Ranch side hustle is strong, Doug Gray. Hey, how are you? So that's where I am with whether I'm doing summer tubbing or not. It has been way too dry, and the weather has been way too erratic. Now, if I am going to do summer tubbing, it will be I have not tried. Yeah, maybe bleed into the tub. Yeah, I don't know. It's dry enough, quite frankly, that mosquitoes would want to be around water. The problem is that it's really, really dry. I'm outside walking my dog at least 2 hours a day. We go for a bunch of walks. Some are kind of, I take her for a couple of long 25-minute walks. We're out a lot. I have been bitten by a mosquito once. Yeah, so it has been just really, really dry here. Really dry. Don't ask me why. Summer tub of School of Piranhas. You see, there you go. Um, yeah, I'm all in. I want to do summer tubbing. And so yeah. Unfortunately, I'm in a place where that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense right now. And this area normally gets a lot of rain in the spring. The farmers, and if you happen to work in agribusiness, Chattanooga Ed. Hey, excellent. How about what's going on, by the way, with the Cardinals? St. Louis Cardinals are having the world's worst start of the season. They are they've lost 6 in a row. Coral, I don't know. Yeah, the Royals aren't very good either. I mean, it's yeah, it's I think that people were very much expecting the Cardinals to have a very good season. I think people were sort of hoping for the Royals to make a step forward. And yeah, it's not fun. Not fun at all. So yeah, is so the summer tubbing thing. I have the setup, but last year it was nearly at Memorial Day, and we had lows in the low 30s with highs in the 60s. I just don't think that sounds good. Then it became hotter than hell. I do not have in my yard a reasonably good shade area. In fact, I don't have any. Problematic. So that's been sort of my I'm waiting to do it. And quite frankly, I don't want to add water artificially into the summer tubs. I want them to go and be just go along and do what they need to do. So there you go. And just been it's just been doing really well. It's fish are great. My work project ends this week, which is nice. And yeah, it's yeah, it's a good time. So we have a skunk problem in my neighborhood, and it is not a good thing. The s- the skunk thing, I was walking, and maybe you guys have an answer for the skunks. Um, I get home, my lunch hour, because I work weird hours, is 9 to 10 in the morning. And so about 9:20, I'm walking Maggie, and uh, all of a sudden, about 100 feet in front of us, a skunk makes its way. Pretty direct, seemed like it knew where it was going. There was no questions there. And I'm going, holy capoli, it was a big one too. So that's on Thursday. So this morning, I went out and did a little grocery shopping, adulting. So Thursday or today, it's about 8:40. I just got back from the grocery store. And so I am looking around, coming back, and all of a sudden I see something in front of me, and there's the damn skunk. And it's coming kind of right at me. So here's what I did. I pulled Maggie close to me, and I did not move. That's one of the tricks sometimes with wildlife. If you run into them, you never want to run away. The only thing I didn't want with that skunk is to create a moment where it felt like it was being threatened. If it felt like it was being threatened, you know, I understand they can spray a pretty good distance. So there you go. And not fun at all. So so that was my deal. That was my deal with that. And so the skunk went straight along in the yard, and I am not exaggerating this. This is 20, 25 feet. Went straight along the side of a house and this house is like, I think probably the original house in this area that may have been a farmhouse at one time, and has a, you know, uh, disconnected or not attached garage. And I watched that thing and it went right under that garage. So the homeowner, I think he works nights. He's a nice guy. His name is Victor. I don't really know him that well. We just, say hi and, normal neighbor crap. So I need to, he usually goes to work at around 2 o'clock my time. It's 12:10 right now. So there you go. Yeah, I have been in the wild. I have seen uh wolves, moose, uh generally want to stay track. But I will say the one time we ran, this is probably when I was in high school. We were up, we used to go hunting in the fall up to near Grand Marais, Minnesota. And my brother and I are on my brother had a moped, I had a small motorcycle, and she started to charge and followed us. These were on logging trails, so they're not real. She followed us for seemingly like a half mile or so, and it was a spring cow. This is like October, so the cow was the the calf was pretty dang big, but mama moose, yeah. But as a general rule, stay put. And the last thing you really want to do is upset a skunk. Last thing. Now, are any of you summer tubbing? No, Doug, you generally do it. Are you gonna do it this year? Mm, Powerade. In fact, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna go to the fridge and get Diet Dr. Pepper, a DDP baby. Chattanooga Ed Tubbs. Yeah, I will tell you, it was hotter than hell here last summer. It didn't rain. There was no stuff. And it was so cool in the spring that it kept me from going up, and I was very happy I didn't go up. It's now I looked at the 10-day future cast, and yeah. Yeah, Coral works. Yes, Chattanooga Ed, your safety is pretty important for all of us. If you're here, by the way, you haven't said hi, please do. I'm Mob Guppy. The Guppy is the mob. We got good folk here. So yeah, that's my thing about summer tubbing. Summer tubbing. And just to give you an idea, it was supposed to rain, perhaps a little pop-up thunderstorm tomorrow. That seems out the window. It's supposed to rain on Monday. Nope. They moved that back. Monday and Tuesday, no rain. Now we're looking at Wednesday, perhaps. So who knows? Who knows? Got my beard trimmed today. Saying of shaving the beard. And I was talking about that with a couple of coworkers. couple of ladies in our sales department said, "No, don't you dare." Okay, Coro, you say keep the beard. Yeah, I'll tell you what, these women were just all over it. My sister says I should keep it. Um, the gal I was seeing was agnostic about the beard, so I didn't know if she really liked it or hated it. Didn't want to tell me. It wouldn't have bothered me if she said, "Yeah." Let's see. It took about a month. Coro, I did this as my first foray into bearddom. It was a challenge at the office by our Gen Zer, who's 23. He challenged us, Melvin, Bates and Genetics. Get a good Viking beard. I may do that. I may do that. I was thinking that a side hustle is Santa Claus. I'm kind of chunky. I'm a full bodied man. Grow it out just a little bit like this and get that suit. It's a real strong thing all the way around. So what's going on in your fish rooms, gang? Anything exciting going on? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have low T. Not a problem. Yeah. Petroman. What's up, RCB? Well, thank you, Bateson. Yeah, so I may do that. I may once I get to you know, once I get to like August, really begin to grow it out. I went to the place I go to my barber. I got a lady barber. It's strong, and she cut it like a month ago, and she was just shocked at how much it'd grown. So it's pretty nice. Chattanooga Ed, Fry. No, the beard is not hot at all. Not yet. It's gonna be 90 degrees this afternoon. So let's see. Right now it's 82 degrees in Joplin, Mo. I've got to go. Yeah, so I went today, got stuff done. I realized something. I was filling up my garbage cans that I age my water in, and I realized, oh, I'm just about out of my water treatment. So I had to order it from Amazon this morning. It arrives tomorrow. Everything's treated. It's just when you begin to run out, you begin to run out. Anybody watching the Kentucky Derby? I had to cancel my bets. Made some bets first thing this morning, and because before I started running around, doing stuff, and the favorite that I had bet on, I got scratched from the Derby, so I had to like cancel that bet and do a couple other things. Yeah, yeah, Chattanooga. Ed, when I go out of town, for like 4 or 5 days, um, usually speaking, if there's baby fry, you're just not going to have any. Sorry to say. You may be surprised and have some. I wish that I could give you better news. Yeah, well, the hair on my head is not terribly compact, so I'm pretty good there. Yeah, I don't know. I've not found my face extra sweaty. Um, Tomorrow I will have to do some lawn mowing. I may do some after our deal today. Um, because I have I have the battery operated thing. It takes about a battery and a half. Last week I got most of the yard done except for a patch. I only did one battery last week, and I have this portion of the back that I need to get done. Um, it's my problem with my backyard with the mowing is that at the way back end, it was built into the subdivision to be kind of a drainage area. And so it can be several days before it dries. I'll go take a look at it this afternoon because I'd like to take and play with the pooch out in the backyard. She ain't running. I can let her run out there, but technically I have to carry her through the house and then wash her because it's a white dog. White dog gets black. So, yeah, your normal fish sitter was on vacation as well. As well. Hiccups. This continues, I may have to get up and have some and a spoonful of peanut butter. Yeah, I actually have a lawn back there. It's just when it rains, everything through the subdivision drains all the way to the end. And that's how they designed it. Um, the deal is, hey, Fish Fam Link, how are you? Welcome to Mob Guppy, where the Guppy is Mob. Um, and welcome all. Yeah, so the deal is, um, my brother, who's kind of a jack of all, much more construction friendly than I am, he said, you got to put it in French drain. So my immediate next door neighbor, where it really seems to bog down, he's all in to doing a French drain. We have a new neighbor right behind him. Neither of us have met them. The guy behind me is kind of a jerk. He did something really classless. If you've not owned a home, I'm going to tell you something that just put this in your head. This guy put up a fence. And he put up the fence right to mine, which would be fine. Don't have a problem. He didn't ask me. My neighbor on my right side looking out my front door, when he put up a fence, he came to me and he just said, hey, do you mind if I connect your fence? No, not a problem. Go ahead. Feel free to. And, and I've talked to the guy behind me a couple of times. He's kind of a jerk. So I think that if all of a sudden I get the other people that'll do the French drain, I think that we can sort of rope him in, hopefully. So, that's sort of the deal. But essentially, we have to have everybody in on it, or it's just not going to work. So, and I just never run into. Normally, if you walk the neighborhoods, you're going to see everybody. Wave to them, say hi. And, it was just, that's the way it goes. I do not live in HOA. And it's a brand new subdivision. It was built a decade ago. No HOA. Part of me wishes there was. I had, first home I owned had an HOA. And they were tremendous. It was tremendous. It kept everything, and they weren't quite like, if you ever watched the old TV show Bewitched, They have a nosy neighbor called Gladys Kravitz, and Gladys Kravitz was in everybody's business. HOAs, I swear to you, nearly anytime you're in one, there's somebody walking around with a tape measure to tape how high, figure out if your mailbox is too high. John Oliver, how are you doing, buddy? I think we got a good crew here. I think this is good folk. Melvin's here, so it's strong, John. Everyone else is here too, but we got Melvin. And so there you go. The HOA, there's some really good reasons to have it. For instance, right now, there are people, that we're on the road that that's at the entrance to the thing. Relatively busy road. It's not a highway. It's just a 2-lane, but it's busy. And all of a sudden, we have neighbors not mowing that area next to the street. With an HOA, that's just part of the deal. It gets done. And that the signs get repainted and all that junk. And I've thought to myself, do I really want to be the run for an HOA? Now, the good news is the people there's a couple of rentals in here. I don't know how many. It's the subdivision is about 150 homes, I think. Maybe close to 200. So there you go. Yeah, Coro, you're right. How much of a jerk do I want to be? Yeah, Hampton. His name is Hampton the cat. And Hampton and Callie are the two next door neighbor cats. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And by the way, if he would have said, "Hey, do you mind?" My answer would have been, "No problem." I'm not a jerk, Well, I'm somebody that, I'm a reasonable neighbor. I like everybody getting along. That's sort of my deal. All right, I'm getting a Diet Dr. Pepper. I'll be right back. Let me get this. Da, 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 da. All right. So I normally wake up. I normally wake up, at 3 o'clock to go to work. I have to be at work at 5. I want time with the dog. So on the weekend, I normally sleep in. Today, I woke up with a headache at 2, got out of bed at 2:30, made a nice breakfast, did some work. Life's good. Yeah, I'll tell you what. There are and again, they say every neighborhood has a couple of people. Across the street from me, there's three homes. That's like a staggered type of setup. Two of the homes, people couldn't be nicer. The other one, I've been here now for over 3 years, and I have never had a conversation with the guy ever. Yeah, it's there you go. Yeah, it's and again, it's my neighbor on one side. He and his wife have an insurance agency. Nicest people in the world, really, really nice, really more outgoing than I am. I can be I'm I'm not over the top outgoing. I'll just say hi. I don't try to start conversations with everybody. You know how that goes. So, that being said, um, yeah, I mean, this guy, I have never exchanged other than hi, how are you? Nada, nothing else. Apparently, all the neighbors on your street had a meeting about the crazy neighbor, and oddly, you weren't invited. Yeah, the cat owners are nice. There's several homes with cats. They all seem like nice people. The guy behind me, who's the jerk, has a couple of dogs. Uh, One side of me, they have like five dogs. Uh, one of my neighbors is a cop, and they have a bunch of dogs, and they're really good people. So they're very big into Halloween. The people with the the family of the cop. The cop, he's not that interested in Halloween the way that his wife and everybody else is. But they had 40 standees in their yard last year. 40. So, yeah. Yeah, and the deal is, I don't need to be best friends with my neighbors, but to have, when you run into them, just pleasantries. It's or if somebody sees something in the neighborhood, letting you know, really good. I'll tell you what, in my office, and I don't work in the biggest office in the world. We have about 30 people. We had our first, because I'm in management, I learned these things. Our first COVID case, since the beginning of the year. I had COVID my one and only time September of last year, and I have long COVID as far as smell. Energy level is really strong. My energy is fine. My taste is okay. It's not quite as good because you can't smell. I can't smell a thing. Someone suggested to me, thank you, Chattanooga. Again, you know, the I have a couple of ladies across the street. Both live alone. They're nice people. I nice chat with them, and again, you want that. Yeah, COVID's over. People are going to get it, but as far as like a real terrible thing with it, Yeah, that's over, which is good. And by the way, when I got COVID, I was all vaccinated, and I was in a room at the office for a meeting with 6 people, and 5 of the 6 people came down with COVID that were in that room. And it was like 3 days later, bam, I got hit with it. And I have 2 people in my office that have yet to have gotten COVID, or maybe they did it with no symptoms. One of them I would think would have the symptoms. He's an older guy, and he has some older guy stuff. The other one is a guy in his 20s who's like, Captain, I'm at the gym and pretty good shape. And he says he didn't have it. So there you go. There you go. It's COVID's over. Anybody who has COVID at this point, it's people get it. So one of my staffers, she had it her second time having COVID. It's just she was tired for a couple of days and back to work. Thank you very much, Fish Fam Link. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now, because I have a fenced yard, obviously the thing if I put up my hot summer tubs, it'll be obviously in the backyard, and probably next to the house. Yeah, Coro, and I'll tell you what, people have stuck with this, depending where you are in the country, a lot longer than you need to. My you know, in my area of town, and I don't live in a big city, I live in a small town. Not terribly it's not Mayberry, a little more sophisticated than that. They stopped uh you know once vaccines happened, they ended mask mandates. So it was over. And once that kicked in, and and there are certain places, like you're on the subway in New York or you're in Philadelphia using public transportation, and you're like in a bus or a train, like a sardine. Makes sense that that a type of disease could pass around. It's like so there you go. Yeah, I didn't mind that. You know what I didn't mind? Few feet of separation. I don't know if I needed the 6 feet rule, but having somebody, a few, a couple of feet back, strong. Yeah, Cora, I agree with you. Is that's a virus? If you were driving through Philadelphia, you'd have all sorts of protection on. And remember, don't go anywhere after midnight. Watch out for the ATMs. Yeah, good arm length. That's fine. What's wrong with that? I think that's great. Nice little again, just yeah, there you go. My yeah, at least for me, is that I'll tell you what, I hated the masks because I could get never get the damn things to work right. My glasses would fog up. I can see without glasses, but that being said, I'd rather wear glasses. I like glasses. I like the idea of seeing clear. Yeah, that's goofy. That's goofy. It's the last time I wore a mask is when they've asked at the doctor's office. You show up, they say, "Hey, please wear a mask." Okay. Yeah, I'm happy not to to be over that. I just again, my line was once I got vaccinated and then I got it anyways. Not fun. Yeah, it fogs up glasses. That's and I can't wear a contact lens because one of my eyes, left one, has a real big astigmatism. And because I am a brain surgery survivor, my hands don't stay real close. Yeah, no, I get it. But when everything is said and done, let's be honest here. Our bodies are covered by bacteria. There are viruses that we're being exposed to over and over again. And one of the things I'm kind of concerned about is that I can remember as a kid that there would be parties. All of a sudden somebody was like 9 or 10 and hadn't had chicken pox. That all of a sudden some kid has chicken pox, so they go, head on over there, go see him, go see your friend. That was pretty common stuff. Allowing our bodies to adjust to these things, not that bad. So an old lady yesterday with a bloody eye at the wedding. You still have to wear it at a restaurant? Yeah, okay. That's the one that didn't quite understand that for me. All right. Is that we were told the whole restaurant deal. You have to wear a mask from the entrance to when you get to your table at the restaurant. But once you're at the table and you're eating and you're talking with the person you're having, yeah, so technically saliva is going everywhere. You don't have to wear a mask. Made no sense to me at all. People didn't like the respirator stuff. Yeah. And, and the deal is, unless you were wearing the medical mask, it really didn't help. And even if it gave just a teeny bit of help, it really didn't. And the idea is that, we have, the common cold uh, mutates every year. The flu mutates every year. And now a lot of people, if they have any type of health stuff, I get the flu shot. I don't have a problem with it. I go out and get the flu shot. The only year that I have not done it in the last decade, I got the flu. Not that fun. I'm going, should have gotten the flu shot. Yeah, and TB, it is, we have this thing, and by the way, I'm all about immigration. I love immigrants, but we have like thousands of people crossing our border every day on the southern border, and they're not being tested for TB. And some of these countries in Latin America have very high tuberculosis rates. There you go. Yeah, maybe you know what? The lady with the bloody eye, Chattanooga, maybe she fell. Or maybe she had, who knows? Maybe she had some sort of a condition thing. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and it could have been a stroke, could be a number of things. Yeah. And by the way, here's the other thing. I have seen, and again, I have no problem. If you want to wear a mask, go ahead. And there are some people who really should. Perhaps they have leukemia. Perhaps they have, I don't judge people for it. Um, it's perhaps they have, they're going under chemo, whatever that is. What I have found interesting is that you'll see, a couple, an older couple, like in their late 60s, early 70s, maybe 80s. And one of them, the husband or the wife's wearing a mask, the other one is not. And I'm just going, dudes, it's perhaps you should, go out and do it. Now, I will say this with the vaccine. I'm not a medical doctor. Uh but it's I think that I wanted the vaccine. I was happy to get it for COVID because I have an underlying health uh sorry, health concern. I had a brain aneurysm. So I went and got myself the wonderful thing, and I went and got it. It was great, and do I think when I got COVID, did it help it be less? Probably not, because I was, I think I got the Omicron variant, which is relatively really light. It wasn't like original COVID or maybe the Delta variant where there were a lot of people who were dying from it. I had a cousin of mine die. He was not vaccinated, and he had underlying health issues. And somebody that I really loved it, was a good guy, and obviously loved his family and the whole bit. So there you go. Yeah, you see. Yeah, and that's not, it's not a political statement. It's just being nice and around there. Again, my whole thing is, if I go somewhere and they say, can you wear a mask, please? Okay, I'll do it. Uh, it I went in when I was up in Chicago, a year, this would be 2021. I was up in Chicago for Thanksgiving, and I had to run over to the Walgreens. And I had already been vaccinated. I'd already been vaccinated and boosted. And there was one of their associates chasing me down. That's a good idea. I'm a reasonable guy. Reasonable. I'll have to add it to my merch thing. Uh, yeah, I just try to be. We could all be, and Lord knows, is that I'm, if you want to wear a mask, go ahead. I don't care. If you don't want to wear a mask, fine. I don't care. But if you're around people who have a low immune system, as Melvin said, yeah, go ahead and do it. Now, Bates and genetics. When did you get COVID? Now, I can't predict it, but there was sort of a timeline there. Really, 2021, it was, they began to get the Delta variant, and then by the fall of 22, they had the Omicron. I'm sure I had the Omicron. Now they're into different variants, so I don't know. I don't know. It's I just, again, I'm just happy that we're past this thing for the most part. And again, if you have underlying health issues, be careful. If you don't, you're probably okay. But talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a reasonable guy. And so again, that's just some of the stuff that we have to go out, we have to look at. We have to pay full attention to. Yeah, that you were under Omicron. No, you were on Delta. Original or Delta. Yeah, you were on you were on Delta, which is a little more of a hardcore type of thing. Now, I will say this, that some people may find controversial, but I'm going to say it, is that a lot of folks are bringing up about natural immunity. And generally I agree with that a whole lot. Kind of a holistic guy, as you can tell. I love health food. And my deal is that I don't think this was a natural type thing. I think this was, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but is I believe this was developed in a lab. It escaped somehow, whether on purpose or not on purpose. I don't know. No one does, and I don't know if we'll ever know. And then you go and do that. Yeah. My fever was like at the 101 variety, and I did a lot of sleeping. Did a lot of sleeping. And because I live alone, I obviously couldn't go into a store or anything like that. So I would order through Walmart and arrive at Walmart, open the back of my vehicle, and have the people put in there. Doug, you see, it's I'm glad you now have that knowledge clear in your mind. Yeah, not a doctor. I drink Diet Dr. Pepper. Uh, I have a nephew in med school. I went to a doctor last week. That's about as close as I get to the medical profession, people. Diet Dr. Guppy. You see, I don't know if the Guppies would be high on the Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know if they'd be high at all. All right, gang. Thank you so much. We'll be here next weekend, and I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy and get some rest in and be well.